Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to lecture number 5 in the first IHF Children's Handball Week. My name is Courtney Gahan. I'm a member of the IHF Media Group, and I'm the moderator for these sessions. As you can see, we have the translation options for this lecture displayed already. For this lecture, we have French, Spanish, Arabic, and Russian translation available. And you can find these if you're watching on Zoom at the bottom of your screen by locating the globe icon marked interpretation and selecting the label for your language. Please note that if you are using Arabic translation, you need to select the label Chinese. And if you're watching on Facebook, the link for this Zoom will be shared in the comments so that you can join us there if you need the translation. This first IHF Children's Handball Week is the second educational program forming part of the Virtual Academy recently launched by the IHF to facilitate global online learning. This first Children's Handball Week encompasses a total of 6 lectures presented by IHF experts. This lecture this afternoon is from President of the Bahrain Olympic Academy and IHF expert, Dr. Nabeel Taha Al-Shehab. We will stop a few times during the lecture to address your questions, so please feel free to send those as we proceed along. And also please note that this is being recorded, so you will be able to access later for on-demand viewing on the IHF Education Centre, as well as on our Facebook page. And so with that, we are ready to begin when you are, Dr. Nabeel.
Good afternoon to everyone. It is my privilege and honor to be in this webinar presentation. I hope we can address the topic today in the way that all the participants will achieve what they has been learning or discovering or getting more knowledge in the past week. I would like to introduce my topic and the strategic initiatives for developing handball for children. I would like to precisely concentrate in initiatives. Initiatives is the idea that we can create from our own based on the knowledge we have. Albert Einstein, one of the big brains in the history, the modern history, he described insanity, and he is saying insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different result. To Einstein, the big brain, you are insane if you are doing the same thing and expecting different results. In another way, we want a better result. We have to change the way we do things. And this is where I encourage everyone, if you are happy with what you are doing, you can be better if you change. If you are not happy with what you have been doing, please change. Change the process, the outcome will change. We cannot change the outcome if we don't change the process. I will start with a video where we can see different forms of activities. Of course, we can say we must teach children while playing. We must teach children while playing. In the individual work of the children in a team is what we are aiming for. If you have a ball for every participant. This is an optimal way of doing. Activity, let the children. We have two things to put in mind. The guided discovery in our training, and we have to accept also, we have to acknowledge the selective attention. So we take children through experiences where they themselves will discover their ability, they discover some information, they discuss it with you. So please don't mimic, don't manipulate, don't create robots. We don't want to create robots. We want to create children who can think, who can make a decision, who can evaluate, analyze, then they perform. This is the way we want to do it. We must do it in individual way, like what we are saying here from the Korean school. We can see that the movement, the individual movement in defense, and the arm, the legs, and the way they are monitoring, guarding the man. This is a small girl from Iran. She is doing a skill, and she is doing coordination. And this is from my country, Bahrain, where we can see individual work in a team for the steps and for shooting at the goal. Shooting at the goal could be a goal for your training, and it could be a motivation after drills that the players have been done or the kids have been done. I will say it many times during my lecture today. Make your training fun. Don't lose the fun part of your training. Make the players learn, the kids learn while they are doing. We learn better while we are doing. It will go to the selective memory in the brain, where you can enlarge the information in the brain. This is from Iran also, where we can see training or individual training. This is one of the ideas. I put it there because we can see using simple things with a lot of movement, and then you can see that they are having fun. I would like to raise these questions. Good question is a good information. Good question is good knowledge. We want to know why, how, and what we can do for the future generation. We have to know who is our stakeholders, means who is our partners in our at-school handball at-school program. If I know my stakeholders, I know how to develop and to enlarge my program, because it's not only your needs, but also the needs of your partners. How can we create a positive environment for handball development? We say in psychology, a human being is accumulation. A human being is a process of his environment. A human being is an outcome of somebody's environment. So the environment we create will dictate the future of the outcome for our kids, for how much, how long, how interested they are in sport in general and handball in specificity. If we are looking for or planning for talent identification, where we are a country with a good base of sport, and we have those, could be centers, it could be academies for talent identification. So we have to know how to develop and to implement programs in talent identification. We have to know where to look for our best sources for athletic talent in our community. This is important. This is really important. Where you direct your effort, where you direct your work, it has to be where you will see the best outcome that can come. Of course, we have to think of the children. We have to think of the needs, the interest of the children. If the children are interested, they will continue. If they are not interested, where we can see a lot of dropout. Many programs have a lot of incoming athletes, but the rate of dropouts are big. One of the success we can measure the percentage of that dropout of your program. So how to engage them, how to encourage potential athletes to become involved in training programs. So we can see the importance of children at school, important on how to introduce the activities in a way that keep them involved and engaged in our programs. Dr. Hassan Mustafa, the president of the International Handball Federation, see the importance of handball at school program as the future benefits. When we talk about the future, it is the investment. And I will catch his saying, for me, this is Dr. Hassan Mustafa says, for me, it is therefore an important task for the future to benefit from the popularity of our sport in order to get especially children and adolescents at school interested in handball. And we use the motto, fun, passion, and health. Okay. Our planning strategically, how we can plan. The strategic theme is fun. When it's fun, that means they will stay more with us. They will be engaged and they will continue. When it is passion, when you make it passion, it will speed up the learning process. All the theory, publication, emphasize, if you love what you do, you continue what you are doing. If you love what you do, you will learn from what you are doing. And of course, with all the challenges that the universe is facing, health should be one of the criteria, one of the strategic planning. It should be the theme of the planning, the health of every human being. Our goal is making handball at school accessible as part of physical education activity. Please concentrate in accessibility, how we can make our game simple, encouragement, and make it fun to be accessible. We make it simple to be accessible. We make it affordable to be accessible. The objective to encourage children to stay active through handball. Encouragement by, like my other colleagues have mentioned in the previous days, by your body language, by your words, by your action. All this you are encouraging the children, giving them a positive feedback to feel good about themselves through the program. And we want a strategy to use effective approaches regarding promotion of handball for children. It's not what we know, it's what we offer. It's not what we know and knowledge about handball. It is what we are offering for our stakeholder, and the number one, our stakeholder is the children. And now we have to think from administrative point of view, from administration point of view. We have to have an action plan for strong handball programs. We have many schools, many handball programs in many nations in the world. So we have to add, going to Einstein, we want to be better, we have to change the process. We have to have an action plan for moderate or weak program. These are for the countries who have programs, an existing program, but this program can be developed. And of course, one of the main goals as well is to have an action plan for non-existent program, for the countries who is searching, who wants to be involved, who are convinced of the activity and the passion and the fun and the health that handball at a school are providing, and to be implemented or to start with it. Who are the experts? Who are the experts? The expert in these three situations, country with strong programs, country with moderate program, and countries with weak programs or not existing program, the expert are you, the persons who are working in these conditions. We as an expert, we give you the knowledge and the expertise in different parts of the world. But you know your community, you know your school, you know your language, you know your habits, you know your conditions. And that's why the effective action plans, you learn it from us, you learn it from different sources, but it has to be created by you. Of course, we are going to have some questions after 2 slides, and I encourage you to send as many questions as possible so we can try to answer it. What you can see in this slide, we can see the development from early childhood to puberty to adult, where the age, the continuation, the process of a child to adolescence to a grown man or woman, how much the early stages of activity can influence the quality of life. The early childhood, we can talk about obesity, 1 to 10 from the children who have been involved in activities, sport activities. They have less chances of getting obese by 1 to 10 if they are involved in sport in early stages. They are better by 40% in exams and tests what they are doing in academic field. They are less to be hooked or to be linked or to be infected by bad habits like smoking, like drugs, all the bad habits that could be taken or have been or can be drawn to by society, because their interest, their passion will be sport. They will increase their earning. They will have better income, 80% more better income, because they can take care of their body. A good body is a good brain. A good body is a healthy body. So you can work more and you can have more power. You can have more energy to work. Lower health cost. This is so important. A healthy child probably, hopefully, have better range, better percentage of being healthy adult. More productive at work, less chronic disease, and increased activities for children with their parents. I like to read this because this is the end of this slide. Active parent and children increase family cohesion. Yes. And active parents, which when you play with your children, when you participate, when you have activities, not only watching but participating, will increase the cohesion between you and your children. We talked about making sport more accessible, making sport more accessible for children as part of physical education activities. We have the physical education. Children are active by nature. Don't deprive them from this privilege of being active. We are guiding their activities towards handball as part of health, passion, and fun. I think we are ready now. Hopefully, we have increased some awareness or some interest in you to raise some questions. I am ready to take the first part of questions in our lecture today.
Okay. Well, somebody asked, how is handball more beneficial to health than other sports? Are there some specific benefits for children from handball?
To me personally, when I preach about my sport, my handball, I would say that handball is the best sport in the world. And I have to defend that. Mm-hmm. First, in handball, you don't have defense, offense. You can play both. Some sports you are a defender or you are an offense. Secondly, the number of substitution. Many sport, when you go out, you cannot come in. In handball, you can go out in as much as you like. You are tired, have a breath, and go inside. Thirdly, handball have the combination of many sport. We have the goalies of football, we have the dribbling of basketball, we have the block of volleyball, and we have the space, the middle space between the length of the court between the basketball and the football. And it starts with eye-hand coordination, and who knows sport and who knows science, eye-hand coordination is the easiest to learn. So I think handball have the advantage of these qualities.
Somebody asked about how to improve at a grassroots level, especially if you maybe don't have governmental support. What advice can we give?
We have to think of, like what we say, we have to think outside the box. What do I mean? We have to think of ideas that have my stakeholders. We can talk, let's leave the government. Let's talk about health organization. Let's talk about community organization. Because with sport, we are fighting bad habits. We are fighting criminals. We are fighting street staying boys. And of course, we have to look of support from the parent and the children. If we should not look at handball like the one we saw on the TV, the one we are watching in the TV. Like what I mentioned, the expert in this field is the guy who wrote the question. Only the way he will open his mind. It is not the optimal, but it is there for the children. And believe me, children will appreciate it. Small things. I taught in countries where they take the old socks, thrown socks, and fill them with the newspaper, and they play handball with it. How clever is that? How beautiful is that? And how cheap it is. And we have to think of different ways. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, and somebody asked about how to get the most out of parents to help support children.
Engage them. We feel loyal if we are engaged. We feel committed if we are engaged. Engaged by listening. Engage by giving them feed forward, not feedback only. Feed forward. Present yourself. Show them what their child will be with. What's the aim for their child? Show them the future of coming to your program. Show them how convinced you are. Emotions is contagious. I talk with emotions. I show you that I am so sure of what's going to happen to your child. I can bring success story in this team and parent. In short, engage them, they will be involved.
Okay, that's all so far, so we can continue.
Thank you so much. Okay, this is available. This is a publication where you can use and where you can get a lot of ideas, a lot of thinking. I think IHF, International Handball Federation, have done a superb job in presenting this document. You can have it online and you can use it, manipulate it, take ideas from it, and try it. Martin Lindstrom said, a global brand building strategy is in reality a local plan for every market. If you take any international, any idea that is universal, you transform it to your needs. You transform it to your community, to your situation. You don't take it the way it is, but you take from it. Development is accumulation process. You develop by accumulation of knowledge and information. So when I saw a brand when I saw a global strategy, like what I showed you from Dr. Hassan Mustafa or anybody else, localize it, make it as your own, make it made from your home, made from your community. This way it will be more accessible and more sellable, I should say. You can sell it better if you take a global brand and make it local plan. A global brand, a local plan. Now we go to do how. We've been concentrating in the previous slide in know. Why? Now we know how to do it. How to make impact in the future. We want to make an impact, like as what I said, it is an investment for the future. So for the countries with stronger programs, we have to sustain and to enhance. We have to sustain. We have to have the sustainability of the plans that already in action, and we should consider ways to enhance the quality of teaching and to make children enjoy handball and the pathway toward physical literacy. And we will talk about physical literacy later, where we have the generation, an active nation. We want everybody to play sport, hopefully through handball or any activities. And the action plan for moderate or weaker programs, we have to strengthen the program and we have to be innovative. We have to come up with innovate ideas, new ideas, should consider how to strengthen the existing program and to innovate, to encourage more interest in the program, to improve it, to access to sport. In another word, we want to strengthen and innovate. We have to think of adding values to what we have already in-house. The program for non-existent programs, we should introduce, create, and link. In this past week, my colleagues have shown you the way they do it, the way they see other countries are doing it, and the way they think it should be done. So we have to introduce this program. We have to introduce and link the other success in different countries, and we'll see 3 countries had represent this, and we can work in this way. So we have to introduce, create, and link. It's very important. We are a handball community and we can link our work together. Gandhi have said it the best way. Beliefs become your thoughts. I'm talking to you now, ladies and gentlemen, who has been engaged with us in the past few days and listening to me or looking at this stage now. You believe in things. The things you believe become your thoughts. And the thoughts become your words. We talk about it. And of course, we say, walk the talk. Make it an action. The words become your action. And your actions becomes habit. And we want to create good sport handball habits. Good handball sport habits. And of course, we want with our habits, we want to have values. The values states, the values spread, the values becomes your motto, your slogan. And of course, if you do all this, it is going to be your destiny. I traveled teaching handball in many countries, and I have met many dedicated, responsible, hardworking people who has been having the thought, the beliefs, the thought, the words, the actions, the habits, and their destiny is to support handball. I want to share 3 countries in Asia. This is my continent where I came, and I have visited these countries: India, Philippines, and Thailand. Each country have a unique, a different way of doing their handball at school development. The successful implementation of those programs was built in the local instructors, the local believers, the local instructor who knows why, and of course, they develop the know-how. They initiated initiatives through the local experts. They have activities at the school through courses, through festivals, tournaments, and some went to the point of leagues in the school, and it is driven by dedicated, well-knowledge searchers of teachers. They did this. We visited them once or twice, but they carried out this great work. You can do festivals, introduce many handball festivals, you can have school tournaments, and you can go further to physical education classes in handball. Thomas Bach, the IOC president, he talked about this field, and he said, and it is common sense. To me, this is common sense. Only children playing sport can be future athletes. We want to inspire these children by giving them better access to sport. Again, we want to inspire these children. Think of the jewel of the word, inspire. We want them to inspire the children by giving them better access to sport. We want to engage with them whenever they are, to engage with them. It is their interest, it is their inspiration. We want to be engaged in that. I love it. So, who is our network? Who is our network? Who is the network of handball at school? And you will see that from this stage, IHF have presented the expert ideas, training through programs. Then we have the IOC. They have the Olympic Solidarity, they have the Talent Identification Program, and they have a lot of youth program. If somebody are involved in the Olympic Committee, there is a lot of program you can learn from, get grants from, and have access to it. We need the media. The media plays a big part. We have to increase the fans, we have to use the technology, and we have to use a new method. And we can go to the clubs who having program for talent identification, activities, and they have the coaches for this purpose. we have to think of health. The health is a big part of the programs that can be supported through the health organization, health agencies, some people who are interested in the health of the community. And we have to think of the free time, we have to think of active mind, active body, and we think of the active nation, less sickness, more activity. Of course, the parent, the encouragement of the parent, the awareness of the parents, the knowledge of the parents. The more we do, and then the National Federation, where they can do festival, community service, or developing coaches. This is our network. It could be that you are linked to one, or it could be that you are linked to two, but these are initiatives. Those are windows of possibilities. You can get your support, you can get information, you can get personal support, and you can get some assistance. This is a model from Canadian Sport for Life. And you can see the base of this program, the base of this. The base of this slide is 0 to 6 years. They call it active start. We want the children to be active, and we have to say, where is the children now? They'll be at home and nurseries. So we have to create a program, parent guide, and we have to create programs for the kindergartens. Then we have the fundamental stage. It is 6 to 8 for girls and 6 to 9 by boys. The difference of the age because of the puberty, for the difference between boys and girls. We call this the fundamental stage. This is where, and in this time, and even to 8 to 11 for girls, 9 to 12 for boys, the stage for fundamental stage and learn to train, from 6 to 12 to boys and 6 to 11 for girls. We say the possibilities of skill improvement is a sky limit. Yes, the possibility of improvement of learning is the sky limit, because this is a sensitive period where windows of trainabilities will open in physiological part of the body, where we can be the best period for skill learning. So the fundamental stage and learn to train, we have to create the awareness and the first involvement. The awareness of the stakeholder, the parent, the schools, the nurseries, the media, and all the stakeholders that I have, and they can get the first involvement through physical education programs, through festivals, through league, any source of program where I concentrate. It needs different kind of coaches. It needs, there was many questions raised for the suitable coach for the handball at the school, and I think Dr. Hamoud, that was one of the last questions, he described it in the best way. We want teacher who was loyal, inspired, knowledgeable, social part. He wears the hat of parents more than the hat of an officer. Then we have train to train, where we see the green color, where we see the number decrease, because not everybody will have the time and the ability to go in this team of being to compete and to be professional. But we need the physical literacy. But this is the beauty about it. Everybody involved in the early 3 stages will love or know or accept sport. And they will do sport or active for life, and we will have a health for the nation. We'll have the last slide before we take some questions. So what is the environment? If I want to talk about the environment that I want to work in, first, we have to talk about motivation. We have to talk about the environment, because what I said, a human being is a production of his environment. We want to have the supportive environment, and then we want adequate time. Good things takes time. Building a champion takes time. Building good programs takes time. But the process and the key performance indicators for my long-term goal is handball at school. The key performance indicators for the health of a nation is handball at school activities. So we want to give an opportunity for the children to explore in a safety, different activities, in a wide range of environment. Use it. Use balloons, use socks, use balls, use cones, use free spaces, closed spaces. Use any material you have, and you have to make it safe and to give them the opportunity to explore. We call it guided discovery, where children will think, analyze, and take action. When we talk about the appropriate facilities, we are talking about the facilities which is safe and controlled by you as a coach. It doesn't mean the best sport hall or the building. Of course, if you have it, that's good. But if you don't have it, you can work in what you have and make it the heaven for children. Believe me, a happy child could be in a sports hall, but also he is in an open field. We want all the role model, you as a coach, you as a teacher, you as a parent, you as a manager, you should be the role model for this and give them the appropriate instruction. Good instruction, good outcome. I can now take some questions. I encourage you and hope you have questions to ask.
It's actually perfect. We have one question about equipment. Somebody asked just how do you deal with it when you have especially balls? We have had a lot of people mentioning this in the last days, that in some places it's hard to get this. How can we overcome this?
As I told you, you can have smart ideas. It's not optimal. Optimal is to have this beautiful colored ball, but not everybody has it. What I would say, don't deprive the children of the opportunity to enjoy sport by using less quality equipment. Less quality, it doesn't mean less enjoyment. They can enjoy as much or more by your action, by your reaction, by your activities. You can take a scotch tape with a lot of magazines, make them around and make them as a ball. And they can play. I told you, socks, you can put magazine inside the socks and play. Of course, this is not optimal, but this is what I can afford. It's like a parent. What you can afford for your children, it comes from the heart. And this is maximum what you can do. And you show it, they will appreciate it.
Somebody asked about, for children, very young children, aged around 5 to 8 years old, if you can also talk to them about qualities like honesty and trust, if you can talk about these things in order to proactively develop them through handball also.
I would like to use a word, substitute the word talk by show. Show them and they will learn. Tell them, they will forget. When you talk about honesty, show them the honesty in the way you are dealing with them. If you talk about justice, show them the justice you implement in your program. Show them, and please, whenever there is a success of behavior in the children, stop and recognize it. When you recognize a pattern of behavior in a child, then this will spread because it comes from them.
Okay, somebody has asked about how about time for children? How many days a week is ideal for training? And what about the duration of training? What do you recommend?
Children, I will invert it. If you have a child sitting for more than 1 hour, this child is not, I will not use not normal, but this child can move. Children are active. When we talk about a plan training, you can put like the once a day, 6 times a week. It really depends on your situation. But please, you have to monitor the intensity and the load. Being active doesn't mean the intensity should be high, because remember, we are introducing the game. We are not creating champions now. We are foreseeing the champions in the future. We have to create the love, the passion through activities. I like even to change the world, to me, training with activities. We saw that children are more active in the festivals. They play festivals from morning to evening. They play many games because it is fun.
Somebody else asked about physical training for children and how to do this.
We have to be careful. We have to be careful when we talk about physical training. Usually when we talk about physical training, we are talking about the speed endurance or explosive power, or these things, or these elements. I think in the beginning, when we talk about 5 to 10 years old, should be activities. One thing for sure, one training will not make a champion, but with one bad training, you can hurt the child for a long time. So I prefer to have an activity with not high intensity in the beginning and then develop. The other thing, when we mention the gear of stakeholder, go to the expert in these fields. Read in child games, read in physical literacy. You will find a lot of ideas where you can, because really the activities depends also, is it indoor or outdoor? It depends on the humid and the heat. You cannot have the same intensity outdoor in a country like me, where the temperature is 45, in a country where the temperature is 20 or 22. You cannot have the same if he's barefoot. We have, it is a global question, but the answer should be local.
Okay, one more that this is quite interesting is, what is the first thing to do or say to children in the very first time they try handball?
We will enjoy. Yes, we will enjoy the activities. I will enjoy the activity. We will. You will teach me. I tell the children, you will teach me now. We will see how you do it, and I will learn from you. The passion and the interest is very important. Manipulate the words, make it more accepted by them.
All right, we can continue for now, and then maybe we come back for some more.
Thank you. This is an acknowledgement for my colleagues, me, and the work, the beautiful work that has been done by IHF expert in the field of handball at a school, different part of the world, and the impact that has been left there through dedicated handball at school expert and the local expert. I salute them. I have the highest respect for all of them. We will see a video where you will see different activities. We start with a 28-second from Sport for Life from Canada, and it's create the awareness in parent and in the decision making personnel. Then we will see some activities, in-house activities.
Two more times. Down. 1, 2, 3. Back. Stand up. One more. Down. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Up. Stand up. And keep your back. Look at my hands. My hands are under.
That's an angle.
5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Right.
زين ممتاز واصل زين good ممتاز 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 واصل واصل
those exercises, I have to mention this, you have to do it left and right, because now in modern handball, passing with right and left, it's become so spread and so effective in modern handball. So please acknowledge that you have to do it, or if you like, I should encourage you to do it left and right. Pablo Picasso. Action is the foundational key to all success. Actions. And with this action, I'd like to introduce you to the challenge. You have seen it in the previous video. This challenge, he's using the cone, but you can use it at home using any object. It is good for coordination, stability, concentration, and balance.
ممتاز. زين. ممتاز. واصل. زين. good. ممتاز. 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 زين. ممتاز. واصل. زين. good. ممتاز. 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 زين. ممتاز. واصل. زين. good. ممتاز. 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 ممتاز.
I have enjoyed my lecture, and I hope you have enjoyed it too. I'm willing to take more questions if there is time for it, and thank you so much.
We can just do a couple of more questions. These are a bit more specific, but I'm sure you have some input. Somebody asked about the right age for goalkeeper training.
I think this question was raised before about the specializing in sport, and we share the same idea with same principle with my colleagues. Introduce all the position. Don't force the player to play in a position he don't like. Show them the goalkeeper, and this is reality, that the goalkeeper is one of the most important position of the game, and it needs a special quality. This is a position where you can use your feet, your hand, and you have your own area. But specializing should be before 14, after 12.
I don't know if you actually mentioned this, but somebody asked about it. So let's see if you have some information. Somebody asked about the long-term athlete development model. Can you talk a bit about this?
Yeah, long-term athlete development, LTAD, has been now so popular in many countries all over the world, started from Canada. It is 10 years model or 10,000 hour models. It's divided in 7 stages and start with the physical literacy, the 3 stages I have mentioned, the active start, the fundamental, and learn to train. And this is a process where take the start from the ages, the really young ages, to the elite or a professional athlete, gold medals and active for life.
Okay. That's the end of the questions. So we can finish there. Thank you very much, Dr. Nabeel. We have a lot of positive comments.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So everybody, thank you for joining us today. And tomorrow we have our final lecture in the first IHF Children's Handball Week. And a lot of questions have been coming in about how to start the program in your country and so on. And that is what will be addressed tomorrow, is our chairwoman of the Handball at School Working Group, Dr. Ilona Habkova. She will be back to go into much more detail about this program. So I really encourage all of you, especially if you have questions about what to do in your country, to join this one, and it will be very useful for you. So we'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Until then, we'll see you then. Thank you again, Dr. Nabeel. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.